Welcome to Nature Cures with Stacia Alicia, where we explore inspiring stories of natural healing and wellness journeys. I'm your host, Stacia Alicia, and I'm so excited to have you here today. Today's guest is someone whose story I know will touch and inspire you. We're joined by Jo-Hanna, who has made remarkable progress on her journey of healing from painful period cramps through natural methods. Her resilience and commitment to natural healing are nothing short of extraordinary. Hi, Jo-Hanna.
Hi.
All right, so let's start. Can you share a bit about your life before your healing journey?
Okay, well, I love meat. Really love meat, bad. Beat meat couldn't do me no wrong. It never mattered the meat. I lived in a family that's love language is food. Through and through. That is how my mother show love. If she begs, she go feed me. If we're upset, she go feed me. Food is always something that is an emotional thing for me. So if I'm feeling upset about something, I'm gonna go there. And I was trained that there's nothing else other than meat, dairy, egg, like nothing can nicer than that. But then I just started to notice, I don't know if I'm going into something else, but then I just started to notice when I started working in a high stress job that my body just never agree. Like, I mean, I'm gonna go more into it, but there's signs that I'm noticing that, yeah, I have really bad eczema. I'm noticing that I always have stomach issues. I'm noticing that I feel extremely sluggish. Like, there are signs, and you're wondering if it's everything else, but what the world tell you is the right thing, which is meat, which is what you should be eating.
Okay. I noticed that you touched other issues that you were having, but let's start with your painful periods. At
Yeah.
what age did your period start and when did it become painful? Was it
Um,
painful at the start?
it was painful at the start. I was not one of those early people where, all right, I'm 11, I'm 12, I'm out. I started in high school, and I remember the first day of high school just being like, I did. This cannot be it. And it always felt like that. From high school to university, it has always been, I feel like I am about to die. And even when I started working, it would be extreme where my coworkers would be like, all right, she's either not gonna come to work for that day, or she's going to be very unproductive. And that's crazy to me. How can as a human being there's no system in place, or at least, you know what I mean? So that's like,
Yeah, definitely.
how can that be life? So I found I found that when I was in corporate, or when I was working, I didn't like the helplessness that I felt, and I wanted to do better for myself.
So you actually touched on how it impacted your day-to-day life, because I can relate, especially with the working, where
Yeah.
whenever it was period time, I was going to either call in sick or something.
Yeah.
So, but I want to know some more, like, how did your painful period cramps impact maybe your day-to-day life at school, at college? You touched on it for
Yeah.
work already.
My pleasure. Well, all right. You know, I'm about to talk about a lot of TMIs, but we're big people here.
We love it. We love
We're
it.
big
Safe
people
space.
here. Safe space. Okay. So I noticed a few things. I would notice just before my period, my eczema would actually flare up. So there would be problem areas that for sure would be a problem. So it would be right here, right on my cheek. It might be like right on the front of my shin. Of course, the usual back pain, but we're talking that's baby stuff. Now the actual pain itself is like a cutting, like literally like somebody in there and do construction work on me. And me never sign nothing, me never ask for this, me never want this. And it would be the case every month. It's not that I wasn't taking tablets. I was in a space where I was taking cocktails. That's what the doctors would call it. So it would be maybe Uralgin and Panadol. It might be you get what I said, Panadine and Panadol. Like I was now in a space where I was taking cocktails, and it had gotten so bad that in university I would sometimes have to go and get suppositories. Like do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, speak for the audience is wide. So
So when I say suppositories, what I mean is I'm gonna go emergency room, and they would literally get something, a suppository that it would be inserted in
wow.
my butt, and that would have immediate effects. I'd say I'd be okay in like a half hour, 45 minutes. Yeah, and then it moved to a point where we'd have a little nurse friend, and she she'd just give me a little supply. But that was where it was for me, and again, that couldn't have been life.
Definitely not. So you were going through all of that for a period of time. What was the turning point that made you say to yourself, I need to take control of my own health?
I mean, I think as women, we believe that we should bear pain. I think that's what we're taught to believe, that we're supposed to bear pain. We're supposed to vomit. We're supposed to cry. We're supposed to experience a certain level of pain that is unbearable. And it's okay because we're training ourselves for babies, right? And I think the turning point for me was when my partner at the time, he used to iron my tummy with a iron hot water bag, all of them something. But like what he would do, he would use an actual iron, put the towel on my tummy and iron me out, talk me through it. And I remember me and this gentleman not being together anymore. And I remember there was a level of anxiety way in the back, who's going to iron my tummy? It's not, no. Can I, right? So I'm also going through it in my head. I'm also thinking about it to myself, and there is a level of loneliness that can come with painful periods, and I don't think it's fair for us to have to deal with that. There is a hopelessness and a loneliness that comes with it, especially if you don't have a system in place, especially if you are trying the noni leaf, you're trying the chamomile, you're trying the cocktail tablets, and it's still not working. So I didn't want to feel like I had to depend on someone. That was the first thing. I didn't feel like I wanted to depend on a partner, depend on a family member, because also it was the same thing. No matter how old I got, there was a level of anxiety that mommy wouldn't, you know, be able to do certain things to help me with this pain. And it's crazy to be older but still so thrown out by pain. So that was a breaking point. Another breaking point for me was another breaking point was me having dog blood. So dog blood is a herb, right? It's a Rasta man. And he was like, you should try dog blood. And I remember saying, boy, I try everything. I don't know if this are gonna help. I said, no man, try it. And this man go around at the back and him pull some dog blood, and I'm saying, yeah man, it's a herb with like a red flower. And I say, come back in a few days, I'm gonna dry it out for you, just come pick it up. I went and I picked it up, and it was one of the few times that I experienced relief, and it never have to do with tablets. It never,
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh wow, okay, there really is something to actively putting something in your system, and it helps and it's natural. So what am I doing that I could do additionally to help myself by actually changing what I'm doing? Because am I really taking care of my system as I think I am? Am I really treating it as a temple? Am I really? So that was a point where I had to really sit down and think to myself about it. And then that's when I said, Jo-Hanna, what if you try to cut down all of the food that you're eating during this time, like just before your period? Because of course I'm doing heavy research, because I'm like, this can't be life. And then I'm like, okay, what if I go meatless and I just have fruits, juices, just that. Prepare my body before and during. And then I noticed that, implemented that, and that began the rest of my life, honestly.
Love it, love it. You said the dark blood, you said during your period time, that's when you would stop eating meat and you
Yeah,
would start.
like just before my period. So we're talking a week before my period. So I decided to do an experiment where I'm like, all right, the next 4 months, I'm just going to have, as going the week before my period, juices, teas, no meat.
Mm.
If may I eat something, is meatless options, not even fish. Just that was it, a week before my period. And then like during the period, it would be light things. I don't even think I still wasn't having meat during that time. It was still juices, salads, stuff like that, but still light. And I noticed immediately, immediately, the pain was minimal.
Mm.
Yeah, first go, the pain was minimal. So then there was something to note about how hard the body is working, how hard it's working. So it's like, I know, had to do more research, because I'm like, all right, for me, there's something here, So by the fourth period, where it's like my PMS would also be insane. I would have ridiculous mood swings. So it wasn't just about the pain as well for me. It was how out of control I would feel just before my period. Um, like just super emotional. The decisions that I would make, oh my days, just chaotic, and I just found during that 4 months, the peace of mind that I got, top tier. Now, mind you, before this, I was exercising extensively. Yeah, definitely taking exercise seriously during that time. I can also note that I started yoga during this time as well, like heavy, serious yoga, hot yoga. Yeah, and I noticed it that also helped to quiet me down, use my breath more. So if things were hectic, I was able to just breathe through it. And I underestimated the power of using breath when things are hard. This is the cheapest tool we have. It is the cheapest, most affordable tool of power that we have. And I was able to focus on it a lot more. And I found that helped me a lot.
I
Hmm.
love that.
Yeah.
What's one myth about menstrual health or wellness that you would love to debunk based on your personal experience?
I don't know if it's a myth, but I want to talk about how expensive having a period is. Like it's definitely money attached to that. We underestimate, especially if you're somebody who you use pads, use sanitary napkins. That adds up. You want to make sure that you're getting something that, because for me, I had very crime scene-esque periods. Um, and I didn't know that that had a lot to do with how I was eating, because I realized that changed immediately when I ate differently. I was a lot more intentional about how I worked out and treated my temple. And I realized that as a result, that changed how much I bleed. But before that, what I was noticing was you're going through a lot of pads. You're having a lot of tablets. You get what I'm saying? And that adds up throughout the year. And is is not just the pads, but it's also the time off from work, because you're not productive. So because you're not productive, you're losing money, my friend. And if you lose money, that can't work for you compared to your male counterpart who don't have to do that. They don't have to experience that. You know, we're looking at the cost of also like balancing your mood. We don't talk about that part. We're not talking about the cost of if you're a sugary person or a sweet person. So you find that you're buying extra sweets. You find that your iron is low. So you feel for number two BK and you wonder why. There's a cost.
For those who don't know what BK is, it's Burger King. Uh, you mentioned the difference between the blood flow because you change your diet. Give a example of what the difference
All
would
right,
be like.
another too much information moment. Okay, all right. I definitely noticed before I changed how I ate and how intentional I was about my life. I would notice, hey, what me I tell you, like I must baby me I push out of me, I must baby, because like we talk lumps, we talk. So it's like, so I'm figuring also just that shedding off of my walls, That's probably where the pain was, because it lumpy, it's thick. So that more than likely is part of the reason why I was in so much pain. Not just that, just really, really dark, and um just non-stop, like flowing like a pipe. With I don't I mean, I'm not a doctor, but so I would have, oh, and I didn't even talk about that part too, for cost, like changing your clothes, because I'm leaking. I know for sure that me I gonna mess up something I gonna mess up. More soap, more this, more that. You get what I'm saying? There is a cost that we're not fully taking into account as a woman, you know. Um, what I did notice though, after, so say I would have a 5 or 6 day period before, after, it went down to 3 days.
Mm.
Half of the days, 3 days, I was experiencing a 3 day period. Um, my say I would have a 1 or 2 day pain. I would just experience slight discomfort for the first day.
Uh,
Slight discomfort. I must say though, COVID really switched things up, because I started experiencing pain back again during COVID. But that's a talk for another time. I
we're
did
going to
notice
get
that.
into that, I'm
Yeah,
sure. I'm sure. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say your period pain was before compared to the discomfort after?
Okay. Before it would be, what was I saying yesterday?
Yeah, man.
It would be
All right.
11.2. Yeah, man. Every month it would have ranged between a hard 8 to a 11.2.
Mm.
You have to understand, Stacia, that during this time, it would be anxiety, become afraid. I would literally be afraid because I felt helpless. It's like, I am just like, here we go. I can't do nothing about this. This is coming for me whether I like it or not. You know? Even if I take, it would help somewhat if I took tablets before my period starts. So, all right, so my period is supposed to start on Monday. So what I would start doing, I would start taking tablets this Sunday. Let me know, because one thing about my period would always be exact. I wouldn't have to worry about that. So luckily I have the privilege of that. So what would happen is I would have to start taking tablets from before. But what would happen is my body get used to the tablets. So one period it work, a next period, surprise, it not gonna work. You know what I mean? And I'd have to be mixing tablets and running a rotation of chaos, absolute chaos. To answer, after it went down to, I will have to use a range because sometimes it would be a little bit more uncomfortable. So the range would be about two, 2 to 4, 2 to 4. It moved from
11.2.
yeah 8 to 11.2 to then going down to 2 to 4. Crazy.
And it's just basically changing what you put inside of your body.
Yeah,
Wow.
100%.
So you mentioned the stress that it would cause, whether it is from work or school or just the anxiety of it happening, Was that what led you to becoming a stress management coach? What led you to becoming a stress management coach?
Well, it's a few things, it's a few things, but what I can say is that I noticed that stress affects me very specific. When I say very specific, it tears me down. So if, because I'm a worker, me love work, I love it, bad, and because I like to work hard, um, I wasn't very good at taking moments, taking daily, monthly, weekly moments to checking on myself, checking on my self-care. So what was happening was it was just stress on top of stress on top of stress. And because I'm executing like that, there are little whispers that were happening that I wasn't paying attention to. So honestly, painful periods was a whisper. It really was a whisper, telling me, hey, I want you to change something about what's happening here because this shouldn't be it. That's what we don't look at, that when some of these things are happening to us, it's whispers trying to tell us to slow down and step back. Another whisper for me was being in a very stressful and unsatisfying work situation. It's not something that I was passionate about, um, but I'm very big on getting the work done. So the deadlines are intense and insurmountable, but I'm just like, I can do it, I can get it done. So it's unrealistic. So you know it is when something unrealistic, you climb, you climb, you climb, you can't see the top of a mountain. And you still are going and say, oh gosh, man, all I need to do is just keep going because I must reach the end. And we forget, can I preach just for a little bit?
Yeah, man.
We forget that there are some goals that are in our lives that we were never going to reach because they're not our goal. Does that make sense? Like, it's not for us to have. We reach what we're supposed to have because it's for us. And what tends to happen is we say, oh, okay, well, it's just not my time yet. And that's okay. And that's right. It's not our time yet. But then if you find that you are constantly being stressed out, you're experiencing anxiety, you find that your days are just constantly low and you're pushing, may I suggest that this is either not a goal for you, or maybe the way that we are looking at the goal is not for us. Does that make sense? So I had to really check in with myself and be like, all right, is this something I'm passionate about? Is this really where I want to be? And asking the hard questions, I had to be like, no, after me no one there, I hate it here. I'm just trying to work, but I'm just trying to get it done. So why not take those skills of trying to get something done and put it into something that I'm actually passionate about? What about that, Jo-Hanna? Yeah, it hard, but clearly the track record shows hard isn't hard for you. So why not put hard into something that you're actually passionate about, and you're gonna get more returns, more happiness, less stress. You know what I mean? Word. Yeah.
As a stress management coach,
Yeah.
how have you seen stress manifest as disease in people's lives?
Wow. I started talking about whispers.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say whispers, what I mean is things that we would look at, and we just think it's a part of life. So we're always sick. Let me use myself as an example. I would notice that while I was working in corporate, me always sick. Me always have period pain. But always I notice if the stress is really intense, there is a particular spot right here, so that would be absolutely tender, and I would start to lose hair. It would always grow back, but I always notice there's a tender spot right here, and I would always lose hair. Yeah. So in terms of like diseases, no, like it can be as simple as heart disease. It can be constant fatigue. It can be you just noticing that, yo, why my belly always feels so. Same for myself. Like I would always have belly cramp, and that was never usually my situation. But when the day and I walk, man said, no man, every 2 3 weeks, I feel like my body isn't mine. There is nothing like having a body that don't feel like it's yours. No man, I say no, I have to take back my body. This don't make no sense. So yeah, you will notice the whispers, but you think that that is how life should be. And I'm just here to tell you that no, sir, nothing go so. Nothing don't go like that. Like you have to realize that if you feel short of breath, you should be able to control that. If you feel tired all the time, you should be able to control that. If you notice that you feel sick all the time, or you know, like whatever it is, you should look into that to get more control of your life.
Based on your experience, what are some practical stress management techniques that anyone can start using today?
Say no. Mm-hmm. Start this so. Say no. 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 If you see that this is something that you can't do, you know, you find that you have a friend, a family member, a co-worker, where they are asking for certain things, and you know that you have a lot of urgent things to do. What we tend to do, we want to help persons out as much as we can, and we will immediately say, let's see what I can do. Or you find that you're double booking, you're triple booking, you're focal booking, you know, you're really a tribe. And what I would say is we have to develop the practice of saying no. But of course, say it respectfully, but saying no, I can't do it right now. I love this concept that you're doing, but I can't help right now. Um, no, we have to. So I guess that's the bigger umbrella of that is setting boundaries.
Mm.
You know, setting boundaries for yourself. Um, Deciding, all right, I want to do these things, but can I do all these things? What can I actually do? Two, then I do these 2 things today, and you set the boundary for yourself in that way. So you're doing this, you're saying no, you're setting the boundaries so that you don't put yourself in a space where you're overwhelmed, you're overstimulated, and you feel stressed out as a result. If you feel stressed out, what's gonna happen? You're not gonna want to do anything. You're going to be hard on yourself. And stress is stress is stress. If you feel anxiety, if you feel sad about something, if you feel hopeless about something, that's stress. And if you feel that way, it only takes a matter of time before you become inflamed, before all kind of extra things start happening to you. So no, that's the first one. Learning to say no. Another thing, I think I touched on it, breathing more. Giving yourself moments. I'm not even going to say meditation, even though it's an amazing practice. I'm going to just start with the simple act of setting a timer for 2 to 5 minutes and just breathing. That's it. You have the timer set. Allow yourself to just breathe. Breathe meaning have a count on it. So this might be you inhaling for 4, exhaling for 4. It could be you inhaling for 4, holding for 4.
4 seconds.
4 counts.
Oh, 4 counts.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. 3, 4, exhale. 2, 3, 4, hold. yourself locked into counting your breath, breathing, and you're gonna find that it actually helps to calm you down and provide the necessary reset that you need. Because sometimes we just need to step away from things before we can see the bigger picture, you know. So that's a big part. How much I say already? No.
Two.
Breathe. And of course, yes, I am a personal trainer and a yoga instructor. So I'm going to, of course, say the power of movement. Like, movement for stress is monumental. We just have to make sure that we move depending on where our body is. We move depending on what we're going through. So if you find that it could be a certain point in your cycle, because it's not all the time we should be going hard in the gym or a sweat and a hackle up yourself. There are certain points in our cycle where we need to be a lot more soft, a lot more relaxing, you know. So we want to tap into that. We also want to make sure that we push ourselves when we don't want to. So relax when we can, but also give ourselves a little push sometimes, but not all the time. You want more than that, or?
Oh, three is good. So you
Ah.
said say no, setting boundaries. Let me see if I'm a good student. Two,
Yeah.
breathing.
Yes.
And three, moving more.
Moving more.
Awesome. Is mindfulness the same as meditation?
Meditation is a type of mindfulness.
Okay.
Definitely a type of mindfulness technique, but mindfulness in the purest sense of it is allowing yourself to be as in the moment as possible. So in this present moment, me being mindful is me recognizing that there is somebody mowing outside. There is a lot of activity, but that doesn't deter what's happening here. We are sharing, we are distributing a message, and that nah stall.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
How has your professional expertise influenced your personal healing journey? Because I know sometimes people may assume because you're a stress management coach or because you're a yoga instructor, because you're this, you don't have those problems, you know?
No.
So, how does your professional expertise influence your personal healing journey?
Okay, I love that question. Um, it's a Ouroboros, meaning snake eating the tail. So it's a full circle. What I mean is, art imitates life. I became a personal trainer. I became a stress management coach because I myself, I fight with this. Um, I I suffer through depression. I hate to say suffer. I I walk with it. I walk with depression, and it's a type of depression that is constant. So it's very important for me to be high on self care and making sure that there are ways that I am nourishing myself. So I am making sure I'm nourishing myself, and I am making sure that I am surrounded by persons who are also nourishing me, you know? So, as a stress management coach, I think I'm the best person to talk about it because me I go through it too. Like the healing journey is never constant. There are highs and lows. So there will be moments where you're like, my gosh, I can't believe say yes somebody. Look on my flat on my face. That's okay. That's okay. It's just so important to also allow yourself to sit in these moments and ask the right questions, journal, use the tools, because a part of this was I wanted to get as much tools as possible for myself. And then I realized that in doing yoga, in working out, in finding out more about stress management, that I wasn't the only one who experienced this, who was going through crippling anxiety or feeling that they are not enough or that they don't have it together. There is a community out there, and uh, something that ended up being, for me, serves a community, and not no sweeter, not no more soothing and calming than that.
All right, Jo-Hanna. So for someone feeling overwhelmed and they're not sure where to start, what would you recommend as the first step towards better health and also towards being less stressed?
Okay. All right, Emma, that's a two big question. I'm gonna have to help me with
Okay.
that. All right, so the first half was
The first step towards better health.
okay. I would say the first step towards better health is identifying the health that you're in. Them claims that the Lulu is so Lulu. That them claim. But you have to check in and check in on your health. Are you 100% confident with the health that you have right now? If you are 100% confident in it, there's nothing anybody can tell you otherwise. Nobody can tell you, boy, you know, you really could do this and that to help you to get out of whatever you're in. If you 100% think that you are okay, why are we here? You know what I mean? You have to really take stock. And for me, I had to look into having really bad periods. Even though, yeah, my body stay good and whatever, there's a problem. If my eczema is always acting up, if, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you have to honestly look at it. If, you know, your mood always low, that's not regular behavior. That's not okay. Your mood shouldn't always be low. Your period shouldn't always be chaotic. You know what I mean? Your back shouldn't always be hurting you. Your knee shouldn't always be a problem. Friends, that's not okay. We have to be in a space where we're like, oh, this problem is happening. I actually can do something about it. You know, I'm overweight and that's okay. No, I'm underweight and no, that's something with your health. So we identify that there is something happening with my health. That doesn't make me less than, but that just makes me mindful that something is happening and I have the power to do something about it. Yeah, that's how we start.
I love that.
Yeah, we start there. And then that will look different for different persons. So for me, I'm like, well, let me just make sure a week before my period, I do this. Because sometimes it have to be extreme, you know. Sometimes you have to do something that you never thought you could do to show yourself that, oh no, wow, I can do this. Because me just cutting off like that, it gave me the strength to just go cold turkey and become vegan. Cold turkey after the 4th period. I was like, you know, I could do this for the rest of my life. And I literally just went home the day and I was like, Mommy, you know, I think I'm going to become vegan. She laughed. This is the chino. The following week, that was it. I was done. No more meat, no more pork, no more oxtail.
Yeah. How did you stay consistent with that?
I constantly reminded myself that even though I love something, which is oxtail, this, that, all of the nice things, I had a bad relationship with food. Meaning,
Wow.
yeah, it's not serving me.
You're going into some deep things there, you
It
know.
don't serve me.
So even though you had a bad, even though you love something,
Yeah,
it was not serving
yeah.
you. So you had to
And
cut it off.
and how deep I went into it was me thinking, wow, I'm doing the same thing with my partners. Like I am, I love this person, but is this person really serving me?
Mm. Word.
Like, are you really serving me? And if I've decided that I am going to commit to this thing, I had to turn. It's not this thing. I'm committing to myself.
Self-love.
Yeah, I'm committing to myself. So if I'm committing to myself, what does that look like? That looks like smelling the food and accepting that it smells nice, but it damages me. And if it damages me, I can have it around me and not be interested in having it. So I would notice that my friends would be like, oh gosh, oh, I don't want to eat this around you. Oh no, I didn't, I was not tempted. I was not swayed. It was the weirdest thing. I just made a decision. That I was just like, you have to love yourself a little bit more than this dirty girl. Like, are you, I want you, I want you. And it is obvious that you eating these things right now in your highly stressed life, it is killing you. I remember when I was in Falmouth, um, vegan at the time. So let's take a few steps forward. But I'm just kind of just showing you stress. Like it was a highly stressful situation. I was working away from family, away from friends, and yes, still vegan, but this is where you're eating properly, but you are not in a self-care space. So there's a lot of variables in, I hope I'm explaining myself that there are a lot of different variables involved and
Yeah, because it's a holistic approach. You can be eating
holistic.
right, but
Yeah,
you stress out, or you can be eating right, but you're not exercising.
exactly.
Continue.
Exactly. So it's one holding the hand of the other constantly, one petting the other, one hugging the other, and that started a different part of my journey where, and also remember that the healing is not always going to be up like this. It's going to be up, then then you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? And like that was a thing that I had to learn. Yeah, you could be eating all the right things, but also you have to remember too that there has to be a level of enjoying your life. You ever notice how you see some people are sugar to them thing all the while, and then live way past the whole of it? Can I enjoy life, my friend? Like, I'm not saying I'm not saying to shut down the sugar, but I'm saying that there is value in being filled with joy, in being intentional about how we move about our day to day, making sure that we're moving, yeah, exercise, being outside, making sure that we are nourishing ourselves, eating in a way that rubs down the rust. We have to keep the rust to a minimum. And that means I think I'm in a part of my journey now where I used to be such a stickler for I have to be so disciplined and so exact. And not that it didn't have a place, it have a place. And it taught me the power of discipline and patience. But I'm also in a space now where there is a need for variety. There is a need for the sweet things, you know? Like we don't have to be hard all the time. We can mix softness with that. And softness sometimes might be, yeah, let me take a spoonful of honey. Let me, because it's not that I'm having it 20 million times in the day. There has to be sustainability. That's the part in my journey that I'm in now. What does sustainability look like? What allows sustainability?
All right. You're going, you know?
Yeah, go on, go on, yeah, go on.
So I liked when you said that the journey is different and you're at a different space in your life.
Yeah,
But there is a point in your life there is a point in life where you may have to be rigid, you may have to be disciplined based
yes,
on what you're dealing with,
yes,
based on where you're at, whether it's a
yes,
particular illness that
yes,
needs specific attention and
yes,
intention.
yes,
And once you have dealt with that, as you have, then there is a point on your journey where you don't have to be as strict.
yeah. Let's look at bodybuilders. They don't they don't look like that the whole year, you know. You know that, right? They don't look like that the whole year. It's impossible. It's not sustainable. What happens is they have a period where they are disciplined and specific to get this particular result, this artistic form. Yeah. And what happens after that? Them Lego. Because it's just impossible. And I don't think we're talking about that enough. And when I say Lego, you have some of them who really, really Lego, crazy Lego, but then you have others who they will maintain a level that you would be like, oh, okay, is this really Lego? Yes, it is. To a bodybuilder, it's you're not at like 1% body fat all year. It's impossible. It's so we have to we have to know that there are seasons for everything that we're doing. The season cannot be the same all the time. That's where I am.
This is one of the things why I decided to do this podcast, because on your healing journey, especially when you're doing research, you'll hear different perspectives. And even if I share a different perspective from you, your perspective is valid because there's somebody in the audience who is relating with your story and with exactly what you're
Yeah.
saying. And I feel as if it is important to share different perspectives and stories, because you never know who is being impacted
Yeah.
by that.
I
Now, how can individuals and companies work with you, and what services do you offer, Miss Stress Management Coach?
Well, I am a wellness speaker. I am a wellness speaker that focuses on stress management, mindfulness, resiliency, um, managing self, and working on communication in your organization, and also team building. So I incorporate a lot of mindful fitness in how I work with corporations. So this might be nature walks, this might be yoga sessions. I also talked about the speaking. I also do group classes and group sessions. Yeah, I provide a practical viewpoint. That's my superpower. I am going to provide practical strategies of how you can manage stress and how you can change your behavior in in the most healing way.
So basically, a company or HR can say, "Oh, my team is stressed. Let me call Jo-Hanna to come in and give us a wellness talk or a stress management session, a yoga session, a you'll be able to take them on a nature walk,
Yeah,
all those things."
that is that's what I am tailor made is about. It's about helping persons to heal and grow through mindfulness, stress management, yoga, fitness.
Yes. Mhm. Can you share a specific example? You don't have to call names, but can you share an example of a client transformation individual, like an individual who has worked with you and has seen transformation, and also an example of a company, a
Oh,
team that has worked with you and has seen
a
transformation?
100%. Okay. Luckily, I have a lot of those. So, off the top of my head, I can talk about a client that I've had for almost 2 years. She has lost almost 70 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, man. One of my oldest clients, actually. Um, she worked. She worked in government, and before she officially started taking me seriously, she done, do a little one-off month and like not committing. And I actually fired her. Me fire, the talk load. Um, I'm very big on um, you. Where are you mentally? And I don't like people to waste their money. And if you know say you're not 100% there, I can be great conversation, but you're not gonna waste your money. Yeah, come check me when you're ready. Like we go work, you know. So she actually had a heart attack. Yeah, man, she had a heart attack. The whispers were there. Um, she wasn't eating properly. She wasn't exercising properly. She was exercising, but not enough. We underestimate how much movement we really need to do as human beings, and she wasn't doing enough, especially for the stress that she had. And she had a heart attack, almost died. Um, come back to recovery. And she messaged me same time and she's like, "Jo-Hanna, the moment they give me the go ahead, let us start." And that's the thing, a lot of us, sometimes our why can be so extreme, you understand? And it's the same thing. I resonated with her because I felt like I was at a point where I was having terrible period pain. I was terribly stressed out, terribly depressed. You're at a low. There's something about being at a low that you feel like this is it, this is the bottom. I can't do no more than this. So that means I really have to dial in on myself. I don't have a choice. And that's really what happened to her. She felt she didn't have a choice. And when me tell you, good girl work. She cost me, But when I tell you the lady who started almost 2 years ago and the lady now, you'd never believe it's the two same persons. She climbing hills, meaning she's at most of my nature walks, and she's outside of my nature walk category because my nature walk category is beginner friendly. She gone out of that now and she'll do more hectic walks, which I'm so happy for because we have to challenge ourselves, you know what I mean? So she outside of that and she do the work. She walking, she running. I have every October I have this thing called October. She win it against her peers, against man where I do all kind of kilometers. She killed it. May I tell you, and what she will always say is she's learning that exercise is not just, let me just do it. It is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. You have to actively decide, I am trying to change my life. I am actually trying to make better decisions for myself because I love myself. When you start really locking in, so I love myself though. So if I love myself, I need to cut the foolishness, So that
I
that
love
for
that.
sure. Yeah, man, that for sure. So as a result, she's done almost 70 pounds. Like, it is excellent to see.
Excellent. Let me clap. I'm gonna
Excellent.
clap her and clap you
Excellent.
now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I had another lady. She lost almost 50 pounds. She was a client that it wasn't face to face. She was in New Jersey, and let me tell you, she had cancer. Um, and she's just like, all right, I have to do something about this. I don't have a choice. There's something about being flat on your face, that make you realize that mortality, what is it? What is mortality? You feel like, wow, I don't have it together. So, good girl, get to work. She get to work, lose 40 pounds, and she's just like, I never knew I could be this small again. You never know. So that was good to know. In terms of corporate companies, there are quite a few. I don't want to call name, but I am doing some extensive work with a few companies right now who understand that it's not just about doing one at a time. You have to be consistent. So it's about going through each department. It's also about understanding that yes, we have to go through each department and talk about stress, but we have to also look at us as managers and how we play a part in doling out the stress that you receive, and what does that look like. Um, so I've had the pleasure of working with government agencies, and I never thought that well, obviously I thought it, but to see it actually come into fruition, to see government agencies, private sector organizations, um, interested in working on human resource, working on how can we play a part in managing the stress. So what I would notice the difference is persons are now having more mindful breaks, more mindfulness moments. They are putting certain communication framework in place to work on how are we talking to each other. Are we making sure we're listening before we talk? Are we active listening as opposed to just trying to shout at each other? So that is some of the results that I have seen, and I'm really, really proud of them.
I love that because human resource is so important to the productivity
Yes.
of a company. And it's great that companies, especially in Jamaica, are now seeing the importance of ensuring that their staff are able to manage stress. All right, Jo-Hanna, thank you so much for sharing that. We're going into a different segment.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions
Oh, boy.
about your wellness habits. Are you
Okay.
ready?
I am ready.
All right. Morning ritual you can't live without.
Oh, I must do a face routine. I must breathe. Like, I must have a 2 minutes breathing segment. and I have to put my legs on my headboard. Watch them target. But you know what I mean? Like just basically have your legs on the wall,
Okay.
to just get the circulation going, and that's usually where I incorporate my breathing. So that helps to regulate my nervous system, and it's also really, really good for your back.
Is that like in a 90-degree
It
angle?
is.
Okay.
It
Okay.
is.
All right.
I just can't bother on the ground. So I literally just do it in the bed and legs up on the wall or the board.
And how long you say that for?
Like I would incorporate it in the breathing. So that I do it for like 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Favorite healing food or drink?
Whoa. Turmeric.
Okay. A self-care activity that always lifts your mood.
90s parties.
Ooh, I love 90s parties as well.
Yeah.
What's one natural cure or remedy that you swear by?
I can't say turmeric again, not true.
I mean, you can, but how you use it?
So, there's so many remedies. Can
All
I
right.
say two?
All right.
All right. Turmeric. Let me say. So turmeric with a little bit of black pepper. I believe in having it a part of your day every day. I have it in my tea and I put it in my food, but generally that's just what I do. I incorporate it in everything. The other thing is to move. Move, my friend, move. Please.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think I know what you're going to say, but if you could challenge our listeners to try one healing habit for this week, what would it be? This is the Nature Cure Challenge. This is Jo-Hanna's Nature Cures Challenge for this week.
I would say try to get into moving for 15 to 30 minutes a day. So this could be a little bit of stretching, this could be walking, this could be doing something a little bit more intense than that, but 15 to 30 minutes every day, and allow 2 of those days to be more intense than the other days. That's all I want.
All right, so that's Jo-Hanna's Nature Cures Challenge for this week. If you're going to be doing it, of course, leave a comment and let us know. All right, Jo-Hanna, healing playlist. What's one song or mantra that supported you on your journey?
Ooh, Holy by Jamila Woods.
Give me a piece now.
No.
Was a line? Give me a line.
No. I forgot look. Sorry, like say I for lyrics, right? So there's a part of it that I absolutely, absolutely love, where it says, "My cup is full of what I got is enough. Nobody completes me. Don't mess with my stuff. My cup is full of what I got is enough. Nobody completes me. Don't mess with my love."
Nobody completes me. Don't mess with my love. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So these questions, these are the final questions, right? Everybody gets these questions. If your healing journey was a book, what would be the title and why?
Jesus, I'm tired. No, honestly, I don't know, highs and lows. I don't know. It's such an interesting question. Ebbs and flows.
Ebbs and flows.
Yeah, ebbs and flows.
Got you. If you could design a starter pack for someone beginning their healing journey, what would be in it? So now this could be anything from something physical to anything, a starter pack for somebody who is beginning their healing journey. What would you put in it?
a movement membership. So that might be gym, dance, um, kickboxing, whatever, pole fitness, whatever it is. Like, it has to be something that they like. You know what I mean? Because that's it. It's not about what gets the most cardio out of you. It's what you are interested in doing. So I I definitely put a movement membership in there. Um, a lavender and chamomile spray to help them to sleep, because a lot of the time we're not sleeping enough. Or maybe what I should say, it's not necessarily that you're not sleeping enough, but you're not resting when you actually sleep. So I definitely put this spray in there because I know it helps me. The little time when we get, I'm out. I'm out and I am happy about it. And I get up with whatever time I got, and I just feel so grateful for good sleep, you know? What else? Maybe some breathing tips. Yeah, some breathing tips that I can just like put up somewhere, like stick up, easily put somewhere that I can be reminded of it. And yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't say turmeric
I
and
mean,
yoga mat, but
don't
okay.
it, right? Yeah, that too. That too. So many things.
So for Jo-Hanna's starter pack, she has a movement membership, breathing tips,
Mm-hmm.
lavender and chamomile spray.
Mm-hmm.
And should I put the turmeric and the yoga
Yeah,
mat?
you can put turmeric in there. You can put yoga mat in there, and you can put incense too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's Jo-Hanna's starter pack. I'll put a link in the description to some of those things that's in Jo-Hanna's starter pack. All right. If you could bottle one lesson from your journey and give it to the world, what would it be?
Your pace is your own. Yeah. Your pace is 100% your own. And that's okay. What I feel can't unfeel you. Take your time with yourself. Like, just take your time. And there are gonna be some days where you feel like you need to be faster than everyone else. And there are gonna be some days when you feel like you're not moving fast enough. But just 100%, that buckle there would have to be a buckle called slow down. Slow it right down to just allow yourself to be as present as possible, so you can take a step back and see where you need to be and where you need to go.
Love that. Is there anything that I did not ask that you think it's important for the audience to know?
No, I think you covered quite a bit. I think you covered quite a bit.
All right, no
Yeah.
problem. So my final question to you is, what does healing mean to you?
Healing means constant work. Um, Healing means constant discovery, constant change, constant growth. It's never the same. It's highs and lows, ebbs and flow, and I I am so glad that I keep choosing myself. So yeah, that's healing. Healing is choosing yourself every day, even though in the day or in the week or in the month you're gonna have moments when you feel like that decision wasn't me choosing myself, but 100% understanding that the sum of it all is that you've chosen yourself. That's it.
Woo! I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jo-Hanna. It was a
problem.
pleasure
No problem.
talking with you.
Same. Yeah, go on, Stacia. Go on. Give thanks.
To our listeners, I hope that today's episode inspired you as much as it inspired me. Remember, healing is a journey, not a destination, and every step you take counts. You can check out more episodes of Nature Cures with Stacia Alicia on Amazon Audible, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube Music. If you're watching on YouTube, please check out the description section for links and to stay connected with me on social media. Don't forget, Nature Cures with Stacia Alicia is all about real stories, real healing, and real hope. Hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And if today's conversation inspired you, leave a review. I'd love to hear how today's episode impacted you. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, nature cures. Blessed love.